What's going on YouTube? So Gervonta, Tank Davis, and Shakur Stevenson going in a little back and forth in which I take Shakur much more serious in the conversation, the way that he was going at Tank. Really calling him out. Uh good look for Shakur of not backing down and almost like sunning Tank, calling him little bro, talking down on him like Shakur did his thing. Didn't show that he was scared. Showed no respect. That's what you're supposed to do. Showing no fear to another boxer. Tank saying that he has a 7 fight deal and Shakur is one of them. 7 fights is a lot. I wondered how much they paid him. Well, I'm sure it's a lot of money, but 7 fights is a lot. And for the PBC, look at Keith Thurman, look at Charlo, look at many fighters. Look at Luis Ortiz. Look at Andy Ruiz. There's so many fighters. How many years does it take them to fight 7 fights? Right now, I know those guys are B level, whatever. Not their ticket sellers, but 7 fights for the PBC. And for Matchroom, the zone, 7 fights is 2 years, 3 years max. PBC, 7 fights could be 10 years. Like literally, 7 fights could be 10 years. Think of it. Spence, fighting, not having fought over, it's all these fighters, Tank, all the, last year Tank fought twice. It could have been 3 times, but he had that, he has some issues with the law and whatever. Got over that. He's good now. Hopefully he could fight at least twice a year, 3 years. But I think 7 fights is too, well, first off, my opinion means jack nothing, right? Who am I? I'm just a guy talking. I'm sure his numbers were big, but I just think that's a long time. Uh, Anthony Joshua signed, I don't know how long was it, but he also signed a very long contract. And it's just, you never, if Tank loses, right, a fight that could hurt his, pay-per-views and things like, I don't know. 7 fights is a long time for a contract, especially with the PBC, and Tank talking all that about how he would leave and sign with other people, and he's always going to be under the PBC. I think he's not comfortable going anywhere else. And to each their own. I'm a nobody compared to him. I'm sure he no, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't know what he's doing. That's what's been going on with the PBC. Maybe he doesn't know what he's doing, man. Look at Boots. You think don't you think they would want to offer Boots a 7 fight deal? Don't you think they would want to offer Wilder a 7? Why is Wilder fighting with Eddie Hearn? Why couldn't they get Wilder fights? When's the last, how many years has it taken Wilder to fight 7 fights? Even including Fury, those three is 7 fights in the PBC is a good 10 years. Seriously. Whereas if you're in, Matchroom, the zone, even Top Rank, that's 3 years. And 3 years compared to 10 years, I mean, look, Shakur being a part of that 7 fight deal, that sounds good. That sounds good, but who knows what's going to happen? You can't guarantee it. Shakur could lose, Tank could lose. Hopefully they would still fight, but I think 7 fights was too long. He got taken for granted, in my opinion, and it's just to start an opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Specifically for the PBC. If this was the zone, again, I keep going back to this, 3 years versus minimum 7-10 years. Because let's say, obviously Tank is fighting Frank Martin. That's going to count as one. So he got 6 fights, right? That could be 3 years. But what if he only fights once a year? 7 years, man. 7 to 10, that's too long. Let's see. Hopefully, And also another problem is when you sign a long contract like that, your guarantee. I mean, I'm sure he's a set. Let's say he knocks out the next six opponents or five opponents he knocks out, and he gets a Canelo fight for some crazy whatever, just for a stupid example. Let's say on his last fight he gets a Canelo where he should be making $150 million. Let's say he could get paid 200 million, but he's contracted at a set number. So no matter how big the fights get, he's going to be paid the same. So I'm sure he gets some pay-per-view back end. But the point is, the more fights you sign for, I mean, you're set. You're set at that guaranteed number for those fights, and you miss out on the potential of signing with another. Excuse me, signing with another promoter who would offer you double the money. But PBC has done him good for the most part. He's just been inactive a little too long, and not too long, but he's not fighting enough, and he's not undisputed. I think the talk of all this in-house stuff with the PBC doing the in-house, keeping in, fans are tired of that. We're tired of that. I don't think fans are going to support it anymore. He's seen the backlash from fans talking about he's fighting bums. Shakur calling him a 30-year-old prospect. That's a good one. Shakur, that's a good line. That's a good line, punchline. You a 30-year-old prospect, because that's a good one. And Tank got to live with that. So hopefully he fights these bigger fights and they start looking at other promotional companies to make the big fights happen, because that's what fans want. Let's see if Amazon actually pushes for these big fights, because we know Al won't. The PBC guys and Leonard, and they're just going to want to keep it in house. But hopefully there's some people at Amazon that are saying, listen, we paid you a lot of money and we are not going to accept these small in-house fights that nobody wants to see. We need the big timers. We need the Devins, the Shakurs, the Lomachenkos, Teofimo Lopez, all the big names. Tank got to start going after them. Because I think the time of he's the cash cow, he's the face of boxing, he does what he wants. I would hope, I'm putting this into the universe, I hope that talk slowly dies down, where it's no longer, fans no longer care about who's the moneymaker, but fans care about, like in the UFC, which, I'm a big UFC guy. I've been watching UFC more than boxing, but in UFC, fans care more about who doesn't give up, who's willing to fight the best fights. I think of Nate Diaz, Donald Cowboy Cerrone, just dogs who fight their heart out. They'll be bloodied up, broken ribs, broken nose, and they still fight on. That's what the fans want to see. We're here for entertainment. We want to see the fighters fight. We don't want to see you fighting a B-level fighter, somebody that nobody's ever known, because it's not exciting. We know you're going to win the fight. So I hope the talk of cash cow and ticket sales and pay-per-views and all this garbage just goes out the window, because it should. It should only be who's fighting the best, who's fighting the tough fights. Even if you lose, who's getting right, like Wilder. Salute to Wilder, man. Coming off of a loss from Parker to take on a Zhang, that's a warrior, and that's what fans respect. That's what I respect. Salute to Wilder. Salute to everybody who takes a loss, just like Joseph Parker did when he lost to Joshua. You take a loss, you take your loss like a man, and you come back and you fight and you keep fighting, and that's what men respect. So good video. Hopefully, let's see how long this Tank. I said good video. Let's see how long this Tank fights last. Seven fights, long time. What do you guys think? Catch y'all in the next one. Peace.